Am I the asshole for socially denying a woman a seat next to me on the bus? I ride a pretty sparsely ridden bus from my work to my college. When I say sparse, I mean it's never even close to half full. There are always rows of empty seats at the time that I ride it in the afternoon. I use a light linen bag for work, and I don't want to put it on the floor or on my lap, so I put it on the seat next to me. All the seats are pairs, 2 seats next to each other. I don't mind anyone sitting next to me, but the bus is never close to full, so I use the space for my bag. Yesterday, during my commute, a lady got on the bus and grimaced at me. She gestured for me to remove my bag so she could sit next to me. As usual, there were so many empty seats. I wasn't sitting in a disabled reserved area. There were seats closer to the door. But whatever. I'm not confrontational. I removed my bag so she could sit. I sort of rolled my eyes when she sat down next to me and sighed, not to be obvious, but just because I got off an 8-hour shift. I was tired and wanted my own space, and she didn't have to sit next to me. She clearly noticed. She then said, "You need to learn some manners." After that, I got up and moved to another seat, but the whole thing has been bothering me for a day. Did I really lack manners? It just feels like she sat there to teach me a lesson when she could have sat anywhere else. Not the asshole. This has happened to me too. These people are just on a power trip. I just get up and move to another empty seat. If I get on any kind of transport and there are empty seats everywhere, I don't go and sit directly next to someone. It's weird. This happened to me the other day. I was on the left of a 3-seat bench. Bag on middle. Empty right. Some crazy guy tried getting the one right next to me. I said, "There's an empty right there." I got lectured and called names. Obvious not the asshole. I look at it as what I call the urinal philosophy. You don't go right next to someone else if you have a ton of urinals open. Not the asshole. Bag and seat, no intention on moving it. Empty seats all over the bus. Find your Aziz somewhere else to sit and leave other people alone. Up! It sounds like you might have an occasionally anxious mindset. Rest assured that you did nothing wrong, hun. It was very inconsiderate for that lady to intentionally invade your personal space and demand she sit next to you. Yes, this is a public space, and setting so most of the time, there isn't enough space to be left personally to yourself. And yeah, the only one lacking manners and common courtesy was her, and not you. Not the asshole. What is it with people insisting on sitting so close to someone when there's perfectly fine seats elsewhere, especially in a mostly empty space? So unnecessary. Anyone saying anything but not the asshole is showing they are either too privileged or too young to know how buses work. There are unspoken rules. You don't creep on people until you have to. I would have pointed at an empty seat and asked why she was being so difficult. I lose all patience with humanity after work and would have made a massive deal of her confrontational attitude, which I may or may not have regretted later. So props to you. Not the asshole. If most or all of the pairs of seats have someone sitting in them, I'll move my bag. But if there's plenty of empty seats, then I'm taking up some space. Not the asshole. Recommend going forward you sit by the aisle and put your bag in the window seat. I have found that setup discourages people from trying to sit next to you. Obviously, when it starts to get crowded, swap with your bag so people can sit. Not the asshole. This person needs to learn some manners first. The entitlement to force someone to move their bag on a city bus with plenty of room is just bonkers. It's basic bus riding etiquette 101. If the bus is mostly empty, don't ask people to move their belongings, sit elsewhere. Not the asshole. It's like parking right next to the only other car in the parking lot, or using the stall right next to someone in an empty bathroom. It's just weird. That lady was being a jerk. I would be nervous that she was a pickpocket. If there were many empty seats available, why did she want to sit next to you? If your seat was close to her entry point and she was disabled, then sure, of course. I always find it odd when others want to get right next to you when there are seats and space all around. Yes, I am a hermit, but I still think it's odd. Not the asshole. Next time, though, do as others suggested. Just grab your bag and move to a spot you feel comfortable in. I think her request to sit right next to you is weird. If she asked me to move my bag, I would have just stood up, looked at her, picked up the bag and moved to another seat and watch her stand there awkwardly lol. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but you should have fully released your inner Larry David on her. Not the asshole. It's rude and weird to want to sit next to a random stranger when there are plenty of places to sit alone. It was 100 a power play on her part to get you to move your bag. No, the only person who needs to learn basic manners is that woman. What a strange and rude thing for her to do. Not the asshole. Sitting next to anyone in a bus that is practically empty is weird, and I feel like the intention is to just be annoying, or weird. No one can tell me there's a valid reason, unless some other stranger is making you uncomfortable to sit next to a person on the bus when it's basically empty. An excellent way to prevent this from happening again is to sit in the aisle seat and put your bag on the window seat. Not the asshole. It's rude to invade people's personal space even in public. If it can be avoided, then avoid it. It's like when you're standing in a line at the grocery store and you can feel someone breathing on your neck, even though there is no one standing behind that person. Those people are just creeps and they should be called out more. I take the bus every day for work. When it's packed, of course you have to have someone next to you. When it's not, people take up the empty double seats. I have never seen a stranger sit next to another stranger when there are empty seats. That's just weird. Not the asshole. I hate when people have bags on seats on crowded buses, trains. When there's plenty of room, I set my bag down next to me too. I think I straight up would have refused, or I would have just moved immediately. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Some manners to be learned from this. Is this seat taken? Would you mind if I sit next to you? Sadly, these were never considered, nor apparently learned, by the party lacking in basic social etiquette. This was a power play by her. This lady gets her kicks by teaching others a lesson she thinks they need to learn. She's insufferable, and the a-hole. You are not the asshole. Not the asshole. She could have sat anywhere else. She probably chose to sit next to you, so she could make a point. Unnecessary shit caused by her.